What's up YouTube, Jeff back again today. Another very exciting Samsung video for you guys, and I am back from my trip to Galaxy Unpacked in San Francisco, back here in the studio. Already made my first 10 things to do with the S26 Ultra video, so go check that one out. I'll drop the link below. Today I want to talk about some privacy and security settings that you absolutely should change or at least double check on your Galaxy S26 Ultra, and there's quite a few this year, especially with the advent of the new privacy display feature. So we're going to get into all of these things that you should change and tell you exactly where to find these various settings. Up first, we're going to navigate to the security and privacy settings on your device and go into the lock screen. So you go ahead and enter your PIN or get in there however you've set it up, and you want to double check a few things. First of all, I mentioned this in the first 10 things to do video, but if you do have fingerprint set up, you can actually enroll the same fingerprint multiple times, which will help you with recognition. And then also make sure that if you want the fingerprint always on, this allows it to be scanned when the screen is off. I use this as well. And then the animation, you can either turn that on or off as well inside of the lock screen settings. Now you can also set up your face recognition here. I'm not a huge fan of face recognition, but if this is something you want to use in addition to the fingerprint, then you can certainly do that as well within this menu. Now, immediately after setting up my lock screen, adding all those extra duplicate fingerprints that I talked about for redundancy, the next thing that I do whenever I set up any device is to make sure that I have a quality VPN, and that's where the sponsor of today's video, ExpressVPN, can help. You're going to be storing your passwords, your banking apps, your photos, everything on your Galaxy S26 Ultra, and security doesn't stop at the screen lock and biometrics we just talked about. If you're setting this up on airport Wi-Fi, hotel Wi-Fi, or even a coffee shop network, your connection itself could also be exposed. So before I even finish installing apps, I turn on a VPN, and I use ExpressVPN because they are one of the best options out there. Going online without a VPN is basically like putting a sign on your front door that says the door is unlocked, and it's really not a good idea, as you can imagine. Most of the time, nothing will happen, but all it takes is one person to notice. That's what unsecured public Wi-Fi is like, and that's where ExpressVPN can help. On shared networks, your data can be intercepted, like passwords, banking logins, credit card details, and more, and it doesn't take elite hacking skills to do it. Your data has real value to criminals out there, which is why it gets stolen and resold. ExpressVPN solves this by creating a secure encrypted tunnel between your device and the internet, keeping your activity private even on public Wi-Fi. ExpressVPN uses advanced encryption designed to keep your data protected. It's extremely simple. You open the app, tap one button, and you're connected. And it works across all of your devices, so you can use this on your Galaxy S26, but also on your Windows laptop, your Mac, your iPhone, your tablet, any device you have, ExpressVPN is going to work great. When I travel for launch events like Galaxy Unpacked, I'm always running ExpressVPN in the background because I'm on a lot of public Wi-Fi at the hotel, out and about at the event. Samsung has public Wi-Fi. I don't want to expose personal or business details like my passwords, banking information, or other things that are specific to my coverage of the devices, of course, because they are under embargo. Honestly, a good VPN like ExpressVPN is one of those tools that you don't really think about until you need it or wish you had had it. If you want to protect your devices the same way that I do, go to expressvpn.com/JeffSpringer. You'll get an extra 4 months of ExpressVPN when you sign up today. expressvpn.com/JeffSpringer to get 4 extra months. You can also scan the QR code here that's on the screen to check it out. Highly recommend ExpressVPN, and we do appreciate them for sponsoring the video. Next up, let's talk about privacy display, because this is a brand new feature, but how you use it and the instances that you use it in are going to determine how much you enjoy using this feature. Now, privacy display can easily be enabled in multiple different scenarios, and I highly recommend that you don't turn it on all the time. Instead, go into the settings and make sure that you have privacy display turned on for certain conditions. You can turn it on only in specific apps, which is something that I've done. Choose to turn it on for your PIN, pattern, and password when you're putting those in on the lock screen. And probably the best usage, which is use it on all of your notification pop-ups. Now, I recommend enabling maximum privacy protection if you're using it in the conditional mode, because that's still going to be something you're not using a ton. If you do turn the maximum privacy protection on, it is going to give your screen kind of a weird gray tint, but if you're only using it in those specific scenarios, it's not going to really bother you. You definitely don't want to run maximum privacy protection all the time because it will ruin the enjoyment of your display. It's not nearly as vibrant as a lot of people have said. Now, the other thing you can do is you can go into the side button settings and you can actually make it so that when you double press the side button, you turn on your privacy display, which can be great when you want to turn it on manually for specific use cases. And there's the option to go into modes and routines, and you can even turn this into a routine where when you arrive at a certain location, it's going to turn on the privacy display. This can be great for something like having it on at work or other use cases where you're in a specific place where you want maximum privacy. But just make sure that you're not using privacy display all the time, because it will take away the maximum enjoyment of that beautiful display on the Galaxy S26 Ultra. Up next, let's talk about auto blocker, because a lot of people don't know what auto blocker is or what it does, and there are some things that you might want to turn on and some things that you might not. So if you go back to the privacy and security settings that we were in earlier on your phone, scroll down, you'll see auto blocker there. Now you'll notice I have this turned off on my phone, but if you turn it on, it does a few things. It blocks apps from unauthorized sources, blocks commands via USB, blocks malware images in messaging apps, and blocks non-official software updates. Now, this does make sense for most average people because you don't really want to do any of those things. However, there is a maximum restriction mode which you probably don't want to turn on, and I'll tell you why. For maximum restrictions, this will basically do a couple of things that could cause you some problems, including blocking your shared albums and removing location data when sharing pictures. Now, you may not always want to remove that data, and the auto blocker will do this sometimes even if you don't want it to. So I recommend leaving this off unless you feel like you absolutely need it. It does do a lot of extra things that the regular auto blocker doesn't do. Now, as for why I turn this off, well, I install a lot of test apps and do a lot of side loading. So for me, it makes sense to have it off on my S26 Ultra. But for the average person, I definitely recommend turning auto blocker on, just not the maximum restrictions. Up next, let's talk about app protection. So if you go into the settings and you take a look at apps protection, again, under security and privacy, what does app protection actually do? You'll notice that I don't have it on my particular device. So there's two things. There's Google Play Protect, which I always have on, and that's running on any Android device. And then app protection will actually scan your device with McAfee antivirus. Now, I've noticed that this sometimes gives a lot of false positives, so I leave it off personally. If you want maximum security, you can turn it on, but just know that some apps that you install that might be completely safe also end up getting flagged, and so that can cause a bit of an issue. So my advice here is Google Play Protect is probably enough and does a very good job already, so you probably don't need the app protection that Samsung offers with McAfee. This is kind of a sponsored relationship where they get some money from McAfee for allowing this to be on the device. So personally, I leave this off. There's no problem whatsoever. Up next, let's talk about lost device protection, because this is a very important one. If you go into the security and privacy settings, you'll notice that there is a lost device protection option, and there are some things in here that you need to turn on manually. So you have Find My Mobile, which has three different options: allow the phone to be found, send last location, and then you also have the option for offline finding. I recommend turning all of these on. They all make sense and they can all help you if you do lose your phone. This will be registered to your Samsung account, so you'll be able to log in and find it using your Samsung login. Now, if you go down to theft protection, this is something that's offered by Google on all Android phones and also can be very useful. You have the identity check option, which allows you to require biometrics and add security delay that can prevent thief from changing sensitive settings on your phone, even if they know your PIN, pattern, or password. Very useful. Theft detection lock lets you lock the screen if it's detected that someone took your phone and ran away, so they use the gyroscope and other sensors to detect this. Offline device lock, lock the screen if your phone loses its network connections, and failed authentication lock. You can also turn on remote lock, which will let you lock the device using your Android, Google login rather, and so then you have redundancy. Being able to do this with Samsung and with Google gives you that extra layer of security. So I turn all of these things on. There really isn't any downside to doing so. Up next, inside the privacy and security menu, if you go to more security settings, you will see the SIM card security setting. Under there, you can lock your SIM card and requires your SIM card PIN to unlock and use your SIM card. So essentially here you can set this up so that you have a SIM card PIN available, and when you put in your PIN, it unlocks. That way no one can basically SIM jack you, which is a thing these days. People use your SIM card or steal your number so they can use it as their own. This is a very simple thing to set up and use, and I highly recommend enabling it. Going back into that menu as well, the more security settings menu inside privacy and security, you also have secure folder, which I highly recommend setting up. Secure folder allows you to basically store secure sensitive information like photos, various copies of your apps, all there so that you can access that privately and it will not be accessible by anyone who doesn't. You can even hide it so that no one will even know that it's there. Now it creates a separate kind of partition on your device because it encrypts it, so it does take a second to create the secure folder. But once it does, you'll be able to go through and set up, your PIN, your pattern, all of that stuff, and also your biometrics. So just like you do when you set up your phone, you can go in and set up everything that you need to with secure folder, and then make sure that you also set up your biometrics. You can even set up a separate fingerprint that will be used only when you're using secure folder. That way you have that fingerprint stored and it's not used for your actual phone unlock. That way if someone somehow were to get your fingerprint for one finger, then they might not be able to get into secure folder because you have that extra layer of security by having a separate fingerprint as the one that unlocks your secure folder. This is very useful. It's not the same as having a traditional app lock, but Samsung has made it better over time. You can also now choose to allow background activity when you actually have secure folder locked, or you can choose to close all apps in secure folder when it's locked. So depending on how secure you want to be. And then like I said, you can also hide secure folder now if you want, so that way no one would actually be able to find it in your app drawer and say, what's this? And go in there and take a look. So definitely set up your secure folder. You can hide pictures, all those kinds of things. You can also hide individual apps inside secure folder. Very useful, and Samsung has made it better over time, especially with One UI 7 and One UI 8. They've really improved things with secure folder. Next, let's talk about enhanced data protection. So if we go back again to the more security settings tab, enhanced data protection essentially allows you to encrypt synced data across Samsung Cloud. There really, again, is no reason not to do this. Whatever you have synced, Samsung Health, Samsung Internet, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi data, etc., will then be encrypted. That way no one can get access to that if there was to be some kind of breach with Samsung's cloud servers. So this is a good thing to turn on. It's not a thing that takes very long, and you might as well do it to add that extra layer of security. Pinned apps is not really something that a lot of Samsung fans particularly like, I think, but it is something that I always turn on. Essentially, Samsung's answer to app lock, even though it doesn't really work. It just allows you to pin an app so that no one can exit that app without having your PIN, password, or biometrics. Essentially, when you do this, the app is, if you hand your phone to someone and you pin it to X, then they're only going to be able to stay on X, or if you pin it to Instagram, they can only stay on Instagram. But it's very easy to get around this, and it's not a real answer to an individual app lock, which a lot of Samsung fans have asked for a while. App pinning and secure folder, kind of separate things entirely, both useful from security perspective, but they're not the same or a replacement for true app lock, in my opinion. Next, inside the more security settings as well, at the very bottom is the Android safe browsing. This is definitely a good thing to turn on. It has live threat protection. The latest version of safe browsing with more accurate threat detection will detect real world threats for you. It's basically like having antivirus built in. You don't really need a third-party antivirus for your Android or Samsung phone these days, because just Google and Samsung do a great job. And you'll see all the apps there that it supports. It does a pretty good job, especially working with your browsers, thing where you're really going to potentially see malware, or with your app stores in case to make sure you're not downloading any malware. So it's definitely good to turn on the Android safe browsing option. The last thing that we should take a look at is personal data intelligence settings, because you may want to modify what's being shared with Samsung or what's being used to help tailor your Galaxy Eye experience. To do that, you're going to go back to privacy and security, and you're going to go to the very bottom where it says more privacy settings. At the very top, you'll see personal data intelligence. Now there, it's going to show you a screen where you can choose to manage your personal data, what data you should use or where it should be used and how it should be used, and which Galaxy Eye features are going to use that data that you've shared with Samsung to make your experiences richer. Now you can choose to turn off sharing in certain things or sharing certain aspects. Just keep in mind it will make these features not as good, obviously, because it's not collecting or using as much data like Now Nudge, Now Brief. all these new Galaxy Eye features that have come about. They really do need your data to be maximally useful, but you can turn this off, and I do recommend looking through it, seeing if there's anything in here that you may not want on. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification icon for future videos like this. Again, huge shout out to our sponsor, ExpressVPN. Definitely recommend checking them out because you need a good VPN. Go to expressvpn.com/Jeff Springer to get 4 additional months when you sign up. Definitely check that out. You can also scan the QR code on the screen. If you guys have any questions for me, definitely drop them below. I'll be happy to get back to you guys. Appreciate you checking out this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching.